This time I'm going to record it to the cloud and see how that works. I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Chris Torella. I have been teaching math a very, very, very long time. Oh God, I'm in my head, I'm like trying to do the math now. This is probably the 37th year since I first had my first teaching job. This is my 14th year as a full-time professor at Niagara County Community College. I haven't taught this intermediate algebra class every semester, but I have taught it a lot. I'm an associate professor and have been for a few years. I'd like to take attendance. I will be taking attendance in Blackboard. I don't want to project that for everybody to see, so I've got a Chromebook on the side that I'm using for attendance. Usually in a face-to-face class, I really try to put names with faces. I know it's going to be, and I apologize in advance, it's going to be a little bit doing it this way, but I'm going to ask what I call your name. If you could just take a minute and introduce yourself to the class. Tell us something interesting about yourself, even if it's just what you're at the college for, what program you're in, what you want to degree, or anything else that you want to share. So, Nicholas Acombe?
Here.
Nicholas, where are you? I'm not seeing you. How are you? What are you? Tell us something about yourself.
I'm going to NCCC for economic studies and hope to be a future park ranger.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool. That always sounded like such an interesting job. Alyssa Beckert.
Here.
Hi, Alyssa. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Tell us something about yourself.
I plan on majoring in liberal arts and science.
Okay. All right. All right. Nicholas Becker.
Here.
Hi, Nicholas.
Here.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And what can you tell us about yourself?
I'm going to school for computer science because I want to get in the cybersecurity field.
Okay. All right. That's really a growing field, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Is
a lot of math.
are face cams required?
No, they're not required.
All right.
So it would be nice to see every once in a while, but I also know that there are days when I don't want anybody to see me when I'm on a Zoom meeting. I promise I'll try to look respectable for class, though.
I could hook mine up real quick. Give me 1 second.
It's totally up to you, your preference.
All right.
Namil Bethia? Namil Bethia? Namil? I see your name on the screen. Are you here?
Yeah.
Let's see if he's, nope, nobody's spoken to this. All right.
Wait, hello? You call me?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Okay, do you want to tell us something about yourself?
I'm in here for the business management degree.
Okay.
Gonna do 2 years and then transfer.
Okay, good plan. Now, Tyree Casanelli.
Here.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. And can you tell us something about yourself?
I'm going to NTRIP for liberal arts and science, and I don't know, I guess I'm just going to figure it out from there. I don't really know what I want to do for the 4-year yet, so.
Okay. It's a good way to start, to get your feet wet. So, great.
Definitely.
Glad you're here. Brianna Clowen.
Here.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Oh, it looks like you've got somebody on your lap.
Yeah, this is my daughter, Sage. She was supposed to be in daycare, but COVID.
Okay, all right. Well, glad you're here. Glad she's here. And what are you going to the college for?
Dietetics and nutrition.
Okay, that's a great program. Ms. Tylek did a wonderful job setting that up. Real good program. She's got all sorts of state awards for it. Good choice. Jamie Coons.
Here.
Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. And what can you tell us about yourself?
I'm in liberal arts right now, and then I'm going to transfer into the PTA program.
Okay. All right. That's also a great program. They're usually around the corner from where my office normally is, so I know those as well. So, Ashley Croft.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And what can you tell us about yourself?
I'm looking to switch into the Rad Tech program. Come January, I'm going to apply.
Okay. That also was a great program. Elaine is a real good friend of mine. We serve on a lot of committees together. Real good program, strong. Aaron Crosby, do we have you? I know Aaron had contacted me that he was going to be in class, but he didn't have a microphone. But I don't see his name showing up. I'll have to check later. Danielle Gambino.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
And,
I'm a business major.
okay. All right. All right. Glad you're here. Mary Galwitzer. Mary? No, Mary. Oh, hi, Mary. How are you? Are you speakerless?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. All right. I saw you waving and I was listening first. What are you going to the college for?
I'm in liberal arts and sciences right now, but I'm gonna switch over to Rad Tech after.
Good. Again, great program. Glad you're here, Mary.
Thank you.
Sarah Galuza. I'm
Here.
sorry, I'm not good with last names. Sarah, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. And what are you here for?
I'm gonna do Rad Tech.
Okay. All right, great program. Danielle Hahn.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm just in the liberal arts science. I'm eventually going to switch over to PTA once I get the classes for it.
Good. Great. Glad you're here. Marcus.
Hi, Professor.
Hi, how are you?
Nice seeing you again.
It's good to see you. And again, do you want to tell everybody something about yourself?
I'm a repeat student in your class, and I'm also going to the college for environmental science.
Okay. All right. This semester, we're going to be using my math lab instead of lumens because people could not stop complaining about the lumens. So we're not using the lumens this time, using the my math lab. The downside to the my math lab is it's not free. So you're going to have to pay for that textbook access.
Okay.
Okay. Rachel Gam.
Here.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And what are you going to school for?
I'm gonna apply to the Rad Tech program.
Okay, great. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Lonnie Jones. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. And what program are you in?
Liberal arts and sciences. Okay.
All right. Glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
Rachel Just.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. And what program are you in?
I'm going to be applying for the Rad Tech program.
Okay. Good. Sounds like we're going to have a lot of radiologists come out of this class. So very cool. Lisa Cast.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And what program are you in, hon?
I'm in the dietetics program.
Okay. All right. Great program. Manganello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. And tell us something about yourself.
I'm in the CAD program.
Okay. All right. Wow, that's a great program and lots of jobs available there.
Yep.
Very cool. Ben McMines?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. And tell us something about yourself.
I'm at NCCC for business management, and after the 2 years, I plan on transferring somewhere.
Okay. All right. Now, in business management, do you need a lot of math beyond this? Do you need a level of calculus or no?
I think so. I don't quite know, but
Okay, all
I'm
right.
just here.
Calculus is a great class. Yay. Angela Mankiewicz.
Hello.
Hi, how do you pronounce your last name?
Mankiewicz. I know it's a doozy.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm not good with last names.
That's okay.
Tell us something about yourself.
Well, I'm in the liberal arts program. I'm looking to transfer to Rad Tech, so I'm in there as well.
Okay, great. Now, hopefully you guys all become close friends before the program even begins.
Hey, why not?
Benjamin Nosevich.
Hi, here.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good.
I'm doing liberal arts as well.
Okay, all right. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Jonathan Rieger.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. And what can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going for the PTA program and hopes to become a PT one day.
Okay, all right, very cool. I think we just have the physical therapy assistant. I think to actually become a physical therapist, don't you need a doctorate now, a PhD? So.
Yes, you do. I was probably gonna transfer to UB.
Okay, all right, all right. I know my sister teaches anatomy at D'Youville, and they have a a shortened pathway to that, not to give a push to her school. I think UB does too, though, where you can complete it in under 6 years. Yeah. So wow.
Yeah.
Great. William Sable. Okay, all right. Does everybody see William's chat? He's without a microphone, but he's also in liberal arts and looking to transfer. Brianna Schiller.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And tell us about yourself.
I'm in the liberal science program. I plan on switching over to radiology.
All right, great, great. Lincoln Smith.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good. And tell us about yourself.
I'm majoring in environmental science.
Okay. All right, great. Glad you're here.
That's about it.
Maddie Taylor.
Here.
Here. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. And what can you tell us about yourself?
I'm majoring in the dietetics program.
Okay, great, great. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Kylie Winslow.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. And what can you tell us about yourself?
I am going to school for paleontology.
Oh.
Either that or taxidermy.
Okay. All right, all right. Very interesting, very interesting. You're gonna, do you have a place lined up to transfer to finish those, or?
For paleontology, yes, that would be UB is what I'd be transferring to.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Cannon Wood.
Here.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good. And what are you studying?
I'm actually double majoring in aerospace engineering as long as mechanical.
Okay. All right. All right. So you have, at one point in time, I was program coordinator for the engineering studies program. You have a little bit of math to go before you get in there, but you're taking the not calculus based classes first.
Yes.
So, great field, great field. My one brother is a mechanical engineer who works in aerospace. He works with Lockheed and designs satellites, and it sounds so fascinating, and he's so damn rich, but we'll leave it there.
Absolutely.
All right. Angela Woodward.
Here.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. And what program are you in?
I'm a biology major.
Okay.
Hoping to transfer after 2 years.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Very cool. Our biology department is great. So good choice. Okay. So I am so glad that all of you are here. Oh, it looks like there's something else in the chat. Let me check. Okay, all right. Aaron is here also. I got to make sure I mark him in attendance. Okay, got it. Please, if you ever come to class late, let me know because attendance is going to be part of your grade. It's going to be 5% of your grade. It's going to be based on the percentage that you attend. And again, if anything occurs that you're unable to be here, just let me know and you know, we'll see if we can make arrangements. The classes will be recorded and the notes will be available. Unless somebody has a question about the whole Zoom thing, I'd like to right now take you all into Blackboard and show you the syllabus and where you'll find things for class, and also introduce you to my math lab, where a lion's share of your homework and tests and quizzes will be. Is everybody all right? So I'm going to share my screen, and I think if I go to here, when you, does everybody know how to get into Blackboard? Because I've started in Blackboard at a college webpage. Everybody okay getting there?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to switch this just a little bit because for me as an instructor, it looks a little bit different than for the students. So I'm going to enter student preview. Over here, this is the home page that you're seeing. The first page information is just, right now, it's only one announcement, and it's an announcement that I emailed you a couple of times with the link to get to the Zoom meeting for class. That will be there throughout the semester if you ever lose the link or you need to know where to find it. Over here, most of what we're going to be doing in class, I have in content. So if I go to the content folder, in handouts, won't be a lot of handouts, but at some point in time during notes, we'll be doing a few word problems. I will make those handouts available there in case anybody wants to print them out first to go through them. This folder, next folder here, notes. Right now it's empty, but what will be in there, I will upload the Word documents with the handwritten notes that we will be taking during the course of class. And that's also where you find the links to the YouTube recordings of class, as long as I can master those YouTube recordings. Tests and quizzes, what will be in here? Again, your tests will, for the most part, be in my math lab. Some quizzes might be in Blackboard. There's a video here on how to upload your work for your tests and quizzes. As it gets closer to something that you need to upload, I will walk you through how to use those Dropbox. Going back to content, Zoom information. In with the Zoom information, there should be the Zoom information for the class. And there should also be, if you click that next one, office hours. My office hours are going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 10, Tuesday, Thursday from 10 to 11. During my office hour, what I'll be doing is sitting at my desk with Zoom open. This is a different link than the link that you'll have for class. If I go through and open it, it's the link here is what will be all semester long for office hours. So, like, going back to Blackboard. The syllabus and the schedule. The schedule is a spreadsheet, and it has a list of all of the days in class, what's being covered, and the topic. the assignment that will be in my math lab and the due date for the assignment. As you look at these assignments, you see how these first ones, it's P.1, P.2, P.3, and then later on 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 2. I'm sorry, there's a decimal missing, 2.1, 2.4. What those numbers refer to is, while you're not required to buy the textbook for this class, there is a textbook available for this class, and that refers to, the first number is the chapter, the second number is the section of the chapter. So P1 will be preliminary chapter section 1. 2.1 will be chapter 2, section 1. So when we get to the virtual textbook, you'll see where that information will be useful. Going back, I'd like to walk you through the syllabus. And I thought I had it attached as a PDF. I guess it's a Word document, so we'll just open it up. My office on campus is C277. I am not going to be in the office very much this semester. They want to try to they're trying to discourage too many people from being on campus at a time. If there's anybody who really is married to the idea of having a paper copy of the textbook and not the virtual textbook, I do have back editions in my office. Let me know and I can meet you on campus and lend one to you, but I will want it there. My office hours again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 10, Tuesday, Thursday, 10 to 11, and that'll be by Zoom at that Zoom link I showed you. Probably the easiest way to contact me if you need to is via email. My email address is here, but it's probably easier to use the email function in Blackboard. I'll show that to you in a couple of minutes. My phone is there. That's the phone in my office. Because I'm not going to be in the office, I probably won't be checking it all that much. I am going to try to make sure that I check for voicemails at least once a day. Textbook for the class is Robert Blitzer's Algebra and Trigonometry. You can buy the paper textbook if you want. I can lend you a back edition of the paper textbook if you want. What you really must have is the My Math Lab access code. And that gives you access to the My Math Lab homework and also a digital version of the textbook. As I was telling Marcus before, last semester I tried to use an OER, which was free, but students were not pleased with it. And so I've gone back to the Pearson product. We're basically student learning outcomes. We're going to be doing introductory algebra ideas. If you've taken an algebra class before, you'll find that some of the content might be familiar. At the end of the semester, we're going to do a very slight introduction into trigonometry, especially for those of you who need to go to pre-calculus, calculus, and beyond. Somewhere in between, you'll probably need our trig class. Exams. There'll be 4 hourly exams given. They'll be given in class time. This semester, the exams will be in My Math Lab, but they're going to be given during Zoom, and I'm going to ask that you please have the camera on while you're taking them so that I can keep an eye on people. When you put your answers in My Math Lab, they're right or wrong. So you might have the right answer, but let's say you accidentally typed a comma instead of a period, which is something that I would do. My Math Lab will give you no credit. So in addition to typing your answers into My Math Lab, I'm going to ask that you kind of go old school and do all your work on pencil and paper and submit that work in Blackboard in a Dropbox. You can take a cell phone picture of the work. If you're a glutton for punishment, you can type the work. I would probably more likely take a cell phone picture. If you have a tablet, you can write it on a Word document and submit that. But I am not going to grade a paper that does not show me work. Exams will be given during class time. The only way I'll make an exception for makeup is if you contact me before the next class, because I do want to go over them as soon as possible. The dates for the exams are listed in the syllabus. There will be some quizzes given during the course of the semester. Some will be, I'm up on the top of the next column. Some will be in a Blackboard where you type your answers in. Some will be in My Math Lab. And again, for those, you'll have to submit work. On tests, I ask people to do test corrections so that if you made any mistakes on the test, I ask you to redo it on a separate sheet of paper and submit it to me. Those corrections do not count as do not change your test grade, they count as a quiz grade. Homework will be in My Math Lab, and I will show you how to use that in a couple of minutes. Participation, you're expected to be in class and participate in class. Again, I told you that I will be writing on the screen, giving notes. If you ever have a question, please unmute yourself and speak up. Please participate. In my mind, it's much easier to teach if the class is more like a conversation than me just talking at you, which I'm doing right now. It's your responsibility as a student to ask questions. It's your responsibility to make sure you don't have a question about anything in class before you leave class. Also, you're doing everybody else a favor, because you know how every once in a while you're kind of too embarrassed to ask a question and you're relieved when somebody else does. Be that somebody else. You know, part of the college experience is learning how to get up and speak for yourself. COVID policies will be meeting on Zoom, like I said before. I will be taking attendance, and attendance will be a part of your grade. Exams will be 55% of your grade. Homework will be 30%. Quizzes will be 10%, and attendance will be 5%. Any questions on any of that so far? If not, letter grades will be assigned by the scale that's given there. If you decide to go for an SU grade, I know the college through Faculty Senate is talking about standardizing the grade cutoff score needed for an S. They have not yet, and so my policy, unless I'm told that it has to change, is that you need to have at least a 65 in order to get an S grade. If you have a passing average and there's some reason you can't finish the course, please talk to me as soon as possible. The statement about cell phones is usually my syllabus more for on-campus classes. But again, you're better served, you make better use of your tuition if you pay attention in class and you're not texting or anything else with anybody else during class. Accessibility services, if anybody needs any type of accommodations, you need to call the phone number that's listed and talk to Stephen Burns, the accessibility services coordinator. In terms of accessibility, please, if you did file the paperwork, please send me an email reminding me before the first test that I remembered to give you extended time if that is the case. And if you need a note taker, again, I will be recording class and posting notes, so hopefully that's taken care of for you. Next, the Academic Center for Excellence, the ACE Center, is where you can get drop-in tutoring help on campus. It's on the second floor of the library. In addition, they had last semester gone to digital help, that you could get help online from the ACE. Right now, we don't have their schedule or their process. As soon as I get that information in an email, I will share it with you. Academic integrity policy, don't cheat. If I suspect you're cheating, you get a 0 on the assignment. If it happens a second time, academic things become involved and you get kicked out of class. Computer usage, obviously we're meeting digitally to be able to work with a computer. If anything ever happens that you don't have access to a computer, if you're using like something smaller like a tablet and it's not working for you, or for that matter, God bless your soul, if you're trying to do all of this on a cell phone, if you find that doesn't work for you, please reach out to me, reach out to the OIT office. I know last spring some people were talking about what they needed, and SUNY has made technology available to loan to students if, you know, there is a problem. Last spring, I had some students that disappeared for a couple of weeks and they said, oh my God, I had a computer problem. My computer was in the shop. Don't disappear like that. Reach out to us, let us know. In the Learning Commons at the library, there are computers that you can use. They're cleaned regularly, they're socially distanced. You know, you should feel safe going on campus to use those. Otherwise, again, there are a limited number of machines that the college has to lend to people who have a problem. Next part, Starfish. I don't use Starfish to communicate too much to students, although I know a couple of times during the course of the semester, they do ask us to send out progress reports through Starfish. I would much rather communicate with you either, you know, in person, you know, through Zoom, via email, via phone. However, also through Starfish, there are academic advisors that are available for people. Attendance, you're expected to attend. Again, over here, there's a paragraph that academics asked us to put in if we were planning on recording sessions to let you know that you are being recorded. And at the last, I ask that you, please, I ran through this stuff. Take your time, read through it carefully, and send me an email that you agree with the policies. If you don't agree with the policies, send me an email and tell me what you have a problem with, and we'll see what we can work out. But I do need you to respond to me one way or the other. Any questions about anything in the syllabus? Everybody okay with all of that?
Yeah.
If you have questions on anything, later send me an email or ask in class or attend those office hours, okay? Then let me go back to Blackboard. The other thing that I wanted to show you in here, over here, my grades, I do use the Blackboard grade book. All of your grades, for the most part, should be current in Blackboard. There's an asterisk to that statement. When you work on the homework in my math lab, I allow people to work on assignments late. There's just a late penalty that's assessed. It's not until the end of the semester that I submit 0 for missing homework grades. So some people think they're doing well, but never do the homework. And all of a sudden at the end of the semester, you see your grade drop dramatically. It's because I don't submit those 0s until the end of the semester. But other than that, everything that's graded, because I use the Blackboard grade book, you should at any point in time have access to your grade. But I'd like to look now at this My Math Lab. My Math Lab is a product put together by Pearson that wrote the textbook. When you click on My Math Lab, you'll get something like this. You'll mostly be looking at the My Math Lab all assignments. I have to apologize. There should be a link in here for the virtual textbook. I am not seeing it. I will make sure I add that link before the end of the day. I guess in order to show you that virtual textbook, well, I'm going to click on this My Math Lab all assignments. The first time you click on it, they're going to ask you to register in My Math Lab. I do not have to register, create an account because I have been using My Math Lab for years. If you have not used it before, you do need to create an account. When you create that account, please make sure when you put in an email address, you type it in correctly and it's an email that you check often. When you do the homework, you're going to find that there's a place to email your instructor where you can send me a question that you have. I really try to respond to those questions within a few hours, and nothing frustrates me more than taking half an hour to type a response to a question and go through the steps of problem typing and send that email and have it come right back to me because you didn't put in the right email address. The other thing that frustrates me is when somebody will walk into class and say, hey, did you get my email? And I respond, yes, did you get my response? And they say, oh, I didn't look. Now, if you send me a question, you should expect a response within at most 6 hours. The only exception to that rule might be if you send something to me much later than 10 o'clock at night. I'm in that age group where I might be in bed by 10 o'clock at night, and you'll be getting your answer like probably before 7 o'clock the next morning. But other than that, I do, even on the weekends, because I have taught online classes, I do try to check my email somewhat regularly. If it's something important and you're not getting a response as soon as you expect it, please resend your message to me. I won't yell at anybody for nagging or anything like that. Now, in terms of the My Math Lab access, you can go to the bookstore and buy an access code. If you're using financial aid, that's probably the easiest way to get the access code is to purchase it at the bookstore. When you get that access code, if you have that access code, you're gonna click over here on access code, and they're gonna ask you to type that code in. Do not buy a used code. They're one-time only things. If you buy it, you buy it from the bookstore. The other option, if you're not using financial aid, it might be a little bit less expensive if you look over here at the right-hand side to purchase it directly from Pearson online. In order to do that, you'll need a credit card or a debit card. If you are confident that you're going to pass this course first time through and you're only going to need one semester's access, get this 18-week access. However, if you have to take not just Math 110, but also Math 111, I do believe that most of the instructors on campus that teach Math 111 also use the same textbook. And so if you're going to follow Math 110 with Math 111, it's probably better for you to get the 2-year access, the $105 access. The $70 access is just one semester. The $105 access, I believe, is 2 calendar years. So if you think there's a chance you might not pass the course, you might want to spend the $105. And also, if you need to take that Math 111, it will be more economic for you to get the larger access. However, if right now you don't have the money, you need to budget it. I don't want people to not start doing their homework, or if you're not going to be on campus for a while, to purchase that access code. Down here underneath both of them, does everybody see the statement that I'm trying to circle with my pen? It says if you're waiting for financial aid, you can get temporary access without payment for 14 days. That gives you 2 weeks free access to My Math Lab. So I'm going to click on that. If you cannot afford the access code, I'm willing to work with you. What you would end up doing is having to do worksheets for homework and submit them to me. If you take that option, they must be submitted by the due date that's posted on the schedule and corresponds with the due date in My Math Lab. And if you submit me pencil and paper, I'm a patient person, I'll grade it, but I'll only grade it once. You'll find that in My Math Lab, you have infinite do-overs, the opportunity to raise your grade, do problems over as often as you need to get them right. If you're giving me your homework pencil and paper, you don't. Either way, though, I would like everybody to at least get this 2-week temporary access. Now I'm going to go to my course. Does anybody have questions about any of that registration stuff?
I have a question, Professor.
Yeah.
How much is the access code?
I know that through Pearson, the 1 semester access is $69.99, $70. The 2-year access is $105. I have to apologize. I don't know what they're charging at the bookstore right now. I do believe at the bookstore it might be a little bit more expensive than the $70. And I believe at the bookstore they're not giving you the 2 options. They're only offering one of the 2 access codes. I'm not real sure which they're offering. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Is the bookstore accessible through online?
I believe it is.
Or would you have to go in person into the school?
You know what? I have to apologize. I'm not real sure on the answer of that. I know that there is a link to the bookstore through the college webpage. If you can purchase things online, and you know, if they can send them to you, I'm sure you'll find that information there. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact answer.
I got all my books sent to me.
You did?
Yeah, through the
bookstore?
through online.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So yes, you don't have to go on campus in order to do that. If you're just doing it now, you know, you might want to start with that temporary access. When you use that temporary access, what'll happen is after 2 weeks, they'll say, oops, you know, you can't carry on until you put in an access code. And there you can either enter the access code that you get from the bookstore, or you can buy the access code from Pearson. What we're looking at now is a list of all of the assignments for the semester. I guess I don't have the tests open for you to see yet, but they will also be in here. And you see how each one of them has section P1, P2, P3, section 1.1. Again, that refers to where in the textbook. If you're looking at the virtual textbook, you'll find it. So I'm going to just click on random assignment to show you what it looks like. Do you see over here it says late submission penalty, 2.5% deducted per day from each question completed after a due date. After due date, you're going to see next to it the assignment the words past due. When you click on it, they're going to put up a warning saying, do you really want to do this? There's a late penalty. And I want to tell you, yes, you want to do it, because if you don't do the assignment, you get a 0 for it. Zeros can really kill your average.
Are you in the My Math Lab or just Blackboard?
I'm in the My Math Lab right now.
Okay.
But you're going to access My Math Lab through Blackboard.
Okay.
So you're going to click on the link in Blackboard to get to My Math Lab. If you, the late penalty is 2.5% a day. So what that means is if you do an entire assignment the day after it's due, the best grade you can get is a 97 and not 100. 2 days late, the best grade you can get is a 95. If you've got half of it done, if you've got almost all of it done, and there's only 1 or 2 questions that you didn't finish, go back and finish them. The late penalty is only assessed to the questions you didn't do. So that rather than getting no credit for those couple questions, you can get almost full credit for them. So please make sure you do the homework. I know that if something is excessively late, like more than 2 weeks late or something like that, you might not even get half credit, but I promise you at the end of the semester, I will look at every assignment that says that it's late, and if it gave you less than half credit for a question, I will go through and change the grades so that you get at least half credit. Also, I know that there's sometimes things that go on in people's lives that's a little that they can't do their homework. Somebody's in the hospital or something like that, you know, if the power goes out, something like that. Please let me know. I know I've got some people say, oh, can you extend the assignment to me? For me, I've got this, that, and the other thing. Rather than extend the assignment, talk to me, let me know, and what I'll do is when you finish it, I will take away the late penalty, okay? But now I'm gonna just click on a random question, and it is totally random to show you what the homework questions look like. Let's see what we got going on here. So they ask me to simply answer this question, simplify my answer as much as possible, and they only want the answer to contain positive exponents. So I'm going to type in an answer here, and I'm going to intentionally get it wrong to show you that check answer. Oh no, I got it wrong. They'll give me a hint, and they'll let me try it again. I'm going to get it wrong a second time. They'll let me try it again. I'm going to get it wrong a third time. See how over here it says next question. If I go to next question, that question's wrong. And then if I click similar question, they'll give me not the same question, but a question that's very similar. And I can keep doing it over and over again until I get it right. Before I answer this question, I want to look up over here on the right-hand side. Does everybody see where it says question help? When I click on question help, there's help me solve this. This help me solve this will walk me through the steps of the problem. If I use help me solve this to answer a question, then they're going to give me another question to do on my own. But you do get help that way. Over here, it says textbook. If you click on textbook, it'll take me to the page of the virtual textbook where that content is explained so that I can read through in the textbook to see how to answer that question. I don't know why that's not working. It didn't work in the other section. Class this morning. I apologize for that. There's also this Ask My Instructor. And Ask My Instructor, what it does is it sends me the question that you're doing, the last answer that you put in, and whatever words you want. Again, these are the ones that I will try to respond to within a couple hours. And so please make sure that you check your email for an answer from me if you need help with the question. If you ever find yourself spending too much time on a problem, don't get frustrated. Ask a question, use the help functions. Send an email question and walk away, get back to it later. Math should never be frustrating. And then the other thing that's in here is print. I know some people don't like sitting at a computer. If you want to, you can print just that question out, or you can print the entire assignment out and do a pencil and paper like a worksheet. Again, if you can't afford the access code, I can post those pencil and paper worksheets in Blackboard for people to submit. But realize if you're doing it pencil and paper, you only get one chance at it. I don't do do-overs when I grade things by hand. So, cancel that. So now over here, I'm going to type in the correct answer, and you're going to see that it gives me full credit for that question, even though it took me several tries to get it right. So any question about that functionality of My Math Lab?
I have a question.
Sure.
Let's say it takes you about 7 or 10 tries to get it correct. Will that hurt your grade at all with the homework or no?
No. The only thing that'll hurt your grade with the homework is if you do something late.
Okay. That's all I want to double check.
However, asterisk, if it's called a test, or if I tell you it's a quiz, I am not going to grade it unless you submit your work in a Dropbox in Blackboard. I want to see for tests and quizzes, I want to see the pencil and paper work supporting the question, your answer. I want to see that work on a test so that I can give you partial credit, on a quiz so I can give you partial credit. I also want to see that work to sort of keep you honest, because I know there are apps out there where you can just take a picture of a problem and give you. I want to make sure that you're at least doing some of the work on your own. Okay?
I have a question.
Sure.
Where are we going for homework? So like if this in Blackboard or My Math Lab?
Both. I'm going to go back to Blackboard, and so I'm going to go to the home page in Blackboard.
Okay.
And so when I'm at that home page in Blackboard, do you see over here on the side, there's a link for My Math Lab?
Yeah.
I'm going to click on that link for My Math Lab.
Okay.
And when I click on that link for My Math Lab, it's going to take me to this page here. And that all assignments was where, you know, it'll take you to My Math Lab. So that you're going to access it through Blackboard, but it's actually in My Math Lab.
Okay.
And going back to that first question, honestly, homework is an important part in math. Like, if any of you play sports, did you ever notice that if you're on a sports team, you can't just show up for the games, you have to show up for the practices because you need that practice in order to get it right? Doing your math homework is like doing the practice. If you get something wrong in the homework, I'm not going to penalize you for it if you have to do it over and over and over again, because you learn from your mistakes. It helps you prepare for the test, okay? I'm gonna, because that textbook link didn't work, I'm gonna go down. Usually you're gonna wanna just go in through that all assignments. I'm gonna go through course home though. And in this course home, I want to show you a couple of things that you might find useful. One is taking the time, I apologize. I think Pearson runs a little bit slow at the beginning of the semester because everybody's doing it at the same time.
Professor, I have a question.
Sure.
So basically, like the homework is set up like last semester, like how you had us do it on that website, and then the way it's like the way it works, it's basically the same as last semester in a way.
In a way, but it's going to be through My Math Lab. That I don't know if you remember last semester, there were a couple of people in class who kept telling me how awful Lumens was because the help functions weren't there.
Yeah, that
Yes,
was definitely a problem on some of the questions on the homework.
That's why we're using My Math Lab instead of the Lumens, because of all of the help functions that are in there.
Okay, thank you.
Now over here, if I look at the home page, the little blue dots are when assignments are due in the calendar. Over here, you can click on homework, you can click on tests and quizzes. I would prefer if you use the other link for all assignments so that you see when the tests and quizzes are coming. But over here, e-text takes you right to that virtual textbook. I'm going to scooch you down a little bit. I like using this link. Does everybody see where I am? Multimedia library. If I click on the multimedia library, that first chapter is chapter P. And so if I look at chapter P, all sections, I think we were looking at P1 initially. There's a couple of things that are in here. You can go to the multimedia textbook, and that takes you to that digital textbook where you can go through. Yeah, I've got the link down here. When you can go through and actually turn the pages of the textbook and read it as if you had an ebook in front of you. I apologize, it's taking a little bit for it to show up, but this does take you to chapter P, section 1 of the digital textbook. Are you guys all right if I lose my patience and don't wait for the page to come up, or do you want me to wait? The other thing that you can get through here is videos, and they're video lectures, so that I'm going to turn off the multimedia textbook and click on the video. And what that does is it takes you to a video of an instructor doing the material in the chapter at a dry erase board. And so that if you want to hear it from a different voice, if you want to hear it, you know, is somebody else's version of the notes, that's available to you also. Okay? So the My Math Lab is separate from Blackboard, but it is in Blackboard, so that you won't be logging into something else. You're just going to log into Blackboard, and everything that you need for class will be in there. Okay? Let me see if that ebook came up yet. It's
I have a
almost there.
question.
Sure.
The access code on the bookstore, it asks for a section, and it gives me the let me see.
What course section are we?
Yeah, it gives me the department, like math, and then the course 110, but then it asks for a section, and it gives me, hold on, let me see what the
I can tell you what section we are. We are section OY1.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
So I have an access code for the My Math Lab, but it's saying that I need a course ID from the instructor to like get through to enter the access code.
Did you enter the access code through Blackboard? Did you get to My Math Lab through Blackboard, or did you go in another way?
I think I went in another way, actually.
Okay, so exit that and go in through Blackboard, because this course is linked through Blackboard.
Okay.
And you need to put in the access code through Blackboard, otherwise it gets all messed up. I've had some students that have been, if you try to go in the other way, I've had some students where it's been like a 3-week fight with Pearson to try to get things straightened out. So if it asks for an access code, run away, exit whatever window you're in and try it again going in through Blackboard.
Okay, thank you.
And if it still gives you a problem, send me an email and both of us can try to contact the support through Pearson. If you end up having to go to the support through Pearson, it's my understanding that right now they do not have phone support because of COVID. There's digital support. And I have to apologize. One of my coworkers sent me a email with the link for that, and I forgot to include that in Blackboard. I promise I will send that to everybody and also post it in Blackboard before the end of the day today, if you ever need technical support from Pearson. Okay? All right. Any other questions? So everybody is okay so far?
Yeah.
All right, then being we've got a few minutes, let's just go through a couple of real basic definitions and I'll show you how I am going to be giving notes. So I'm going to go back and share my screen again. And what am I looking for? I am looking for Word document. And today is August 31st, and the first thing that I want to make sure that's up there is that you need to register for that My Math Lab. But this is what the notes are going to look at. So let's look at, oh, I apologize. My wrist hit something it shouldn't have. Let's look at P1. So again, preliminary chapter, section 1. And we're going to start by looking at some basic definitions. And the first definition that we're going to look at is that of a constant. At which point I want to stop for a minute. Is this legible for everybody? Can you read it?
Yeah.
If it's ever not legible, if it's ever too small, if it's ever too messy, please yell at me. Say something to me. I won't correct you. I know my penmanship is not the best in the world. Sometimes I sit and think, oh my God, I went to parochial school and the nuns let me out with such bad penmanship, right? If you can't read it, please let me know. I know that this past summer, summer 1, my daughter took an online class that was fully online, and the teacher didn't have a touch screen, and so she was videotaping herself writing, and my daughter could not read anything that she wrote. It was all too blurry. And I know my daughter was upset. I know I was upset. If it's ever illegible, please say something to me and I will do whatever I can to correct it. If it's ever too small, if it's ever too messy, let me know, okay? And I mean that sincerely. But constant. Has anybody in this class ever heard of a constant?
Yes.
What is it?
Isn't it the same? No, I was about to say, isn't it the same number that repeats itself?
Doesn't
Or am I
necessarily,
thinking of something else?
it doesn't necessarily have to have repetition in it. But if I say that word constant, if something in life is constant, doesn't it mean that it never changes? And
Yes.
that's what a constant is. A constant is a symbol whose value never changes. So a constant is a symbol whose value never changes. And so then, what would that be? What's a symbol whose value is always the same? Can anybody think of one?
Would be 0.
0 is a great one. And for that matter,
Any number?
any number. If I write 0, everybody sees the same value. If I write 2, everybody sees the same value. Constants, when we refer to a constant, it's usually the number. There are a couple of symbols that aren't numbers that are constants. Is everybody familiar with the symbol pi?
Yes.
Pi always represents the same value. Another constant that you probably won't see too much this semester, but if anybody takes Math 111, you'll also see in lowercase e. Lowercase e is something that's referred to as Euler's constant. Oh, and I totally misspelled that. Let's try that again. And Euler's constant has a value that's a little bit more than 2, just like pi is a value that's a little bit more than 3. So you usually, if you see that lowercase e, it's a constant. But everybody okay with constants? If something's not constant, it can change. And if something changes, it varies. So we call that a variable. And a variable is a symbol whose value can change. Let's try that again. I haven't written notes and I haven't written and talked at the same time in a while, so I apologize for the misspelling. I'm like one of those people who can't walk and chew gum, so talking and writing at the same time, I'm going to apologize in advance. A variable is a symbol whose value can change. And so can anybody think of an example of a variable?
X or Y?
X and Y are commonly used variables. So an example might be X, might be Y. And we're going to find as we progress through the semester, we're big kids now. When we start talking about trig every once in a while, the 26 letters of the alphabet, lowercase and uppercase, are not enough. And we start throwing Greek letters in there. Pi is a Greek letter. Sometimes you see things like theta. That's a letter of the Greek alphabet that's sometimes used as a variable. We're going to find when we get to trigonometry, a lot of times angles are represented with Greek letters instead of regular letters. So far so good, constant and variable. Then I guess this is the problem with me using Word instead of a whiteboard, but I find it's easier to post Word documents. Next thing we're going to look at is an algebraic expression. And an algebraic expression is something that's made of constants, variables, and the symbols of operation. And so our symbols of operation are our addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, also exponentiation. And I guess radicals, things like that. So an example might be something like x plus 5. Another example might be something like 2xy. And is everybody familiar with the idea that if I have those symbols written together with nothing in between them, that means multiplication? That means 2 times x times y. Is everybody comfortable with that?
Yes.
Another example might be 3x plus 7 over x, y, z. Is everybody familiar with the idea that that fraction bar means division? Numerator divided by the denominator. Okay? Good so far.
Yeah, can you just hold that screen for a second?
Sure. Thank you for asking me to do that. If you're taking your own notes and I go too fast, I appreciate it if you slow me down. And I should have said this earlier. When I teach, if I don't, in class or on Zoom, if nobody has a question, I'm going to go on the assumption that everything's all right, and I'll just keep moving. So basically, I'll go as fast as you let me, because I don't want you guys to be bored. And so if everybody's all right with something, I'm going to just keep on going to the next thing. So let's look at exponents. If I have something like b to the n, is everybody familiar with this superscript after
Yeah.
the variable with an exponent? What does it mean?
Isn't it like to the power of whatever number?
Right, it means that I'm raising it to a power, but basically it's this little number up in the corner tells me how many times I'm writing that, multiplying that b by itself. So b here is the base, n is the exponent, and at least for a day or two, this expression means that I'm multiplying n factors of b. So, for example, if I have something like 3 to the 4th, that means I'm taking 4 factors of 3 and multiplying them. And anybody familiar with what 3 to the 4th multiplies out to? See, 3 times 3 is 9.
9. Oh, whoops.
18 times 3 is
81.
Oh, I completely read that wrong.
You think about 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9.
Oh.
8 times 9 will give me that 81. Let's try another one. Let's try 2 to the 3rd. 2 to the 3rd would be 2 times 2 times 2, which is?
Would be 8.
8.
Beautiful. Now I'm going to scroll this up just a second. I have to apologize. I got to turn my finger into a arrow instead of a pen to move things. What if instead I had -2 to the 3rd? That would be
-8.
2
negative times negatives cancel themselves.
Oh, so it'll still be
Yes,
positive.
positive times another negative would make it
Negative.
-8.
Oh.
Now, what if I had -2 to the 4th? That would be -2 times -2 times -2 times -2.
Negative 16?
Well, let's
Positive
look at it.
16.
Okay, I'm hearing two answers, -16, +16. Which you
What
guys
if-
think it is?
Positive 16?
It would be positive
Because they cancel.
because negative times 2
No.
times -2 is 4. -2 times -2 is 4. And 4 times 4 is
4
6.
is 16.
Please notice though, when this negative sign is in the parentheses, it means I'm multiplying that -2 4 times, which gives me that +16. Instead, if I wrote it as -2 to the 4th, do you notice there's no parentheses there?
So wouldn't that make that a -16?
Of 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is -16. So when you're looking at exponentiation with positive and negative numbers, whether there's parentheses there or not is really important. And the other place where it's really important is if you're doing it on a calculator. On a calculator, if I wanted to take the number -2 to the 4th power, and you put parentheses around that -2, because if I don't, if I write it like this, with a -2 to the 4th, that'll give me -16 instead of the +16, which would be the correct answer. All right?
So if you have a negative number without parentheses, you just put the negative sign at the end?
Right. It just means that you're taking to the base to the power and then making it negative. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Otherwise, if I go back and look up here, because when I multiply two negatives, I get a positive. It turns out that if I have an odd number of negative numbers, if I raise a negative to an odd power, it will give me a negative result. Instead, if I raise a negative to an even number, it'll give me a positive result. All right? I had hoped to get a little bit further than this, but my itty bitty wash tells me we have about 2 minutes left. And the next thing that I'd want to discuss is going to take me more than 2 minutes. So I'm going to stop here for today. Does anybody have, any questions on anything that we did today or any class policies?
Do we have homework?
There is a homework in my math lab. Their first homework isn't due for about a week. I want to give you a little bit of time to do it. And again, it's their first homework is on, well, there's an introductory homework assignment just on how to use my math lab and get your answers in there. The next homework, that homework on P1, is on a lot more than what we talked about today. So hopefully we'll get through all of that content by Wednesday, and you'll have time to really, dig into that homework. But play
So
around.
just the intros due?
Both the intro and the first assignment are due for, I think they're due September
9th
or 9th or something like that, just because I want to give you time to get in there and get comfortable with it before they're actually due. Okay?
Okay.
If the sooner you try, the better. Oh, look at here. The chat's got 18 things in it. And did anybody have a question for me in chat that I need to look at, or were you guys just talking amongst yourselves?
I just had a really quick question again about the exams.
Yes, ma'am.
So how exactly, are you going to be on Zoom and then we'll be working on our exam so you can watch us? I'm just trying to figure out how we show your homework online if we're writing stuff down.
You're going to be working on Zoom. I will be watching you while you take them in Blackboard, and you're going to do your work pencil and paper. And after you submit your test in my math lab, I will show you before then how to upload your pencil and paper work to Blackboard.
Okay, will it require almost like a scanner, or would it be different?
No, you could, if you have access to a scanner, great. If you can do it on a touch screen, great. Otherwise, I will show you, and there's a video in Blackboard now that shows you how you can use your, if you open Blackboard on your cell phone, with your cell phone, you can just take a cell phone picture of the work and upload it that way.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else that anybody has that they want to ask me about before the end of the class today?
So for the
Good.
For extra help or tutor, do we just show up to the second floor in the library?
You know what? Let me see what their hours are going to be. In the previous semesters, you could just show up. I'm not sure if they're going to have a lot of in-person tutoring or if it's going to all be virtually. Let me email Madison, the coordinator of the Learning Commons, and see what she's got going on this semester. All right, as soon as I get a schedule,
right, thank you.
I will get back to you, okay? You can also show up to my office hours and share your screen with me, or I can pull up your what your question you're working on in my math lab and work with you that way. And also, if I get back to you with an email and you can't understand it, I didn't say this before, but if my email answers aren't enough and you need help with something, I am more than willing, if I am available, to do an instant Zoom meeting with you to help you with something, okay? All right, is this going to be close enough to regular class notes type thing for you guys to be comfortable?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, then this is the plan of attack for this semester, all right? Oops, one new message. Okay, all right, so yes, you are going to need a notebook if you want to take your own notes, but again, everything that I write will be posted in Blackboard too, okay? So have a great day, and I'll see you guys all on Wednesday. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you. You too.
Okay,
Have a
bye,
nice day,
everyone.
Professor.
All right, bye. Bye.